Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be showing off the brand new Mikanko archetype, and this is going to be probably one of the most annoying new Yu-Gi-Oh decks to come out into the game, and you got to be ready to face off against this deck. Now, why is it annoying? Well, one, it runs Mystic Mine. It's like a no-brainer for this deck because the deck doesn't really have insane, like, throw up a bunch of negates turn one, but what it does do is it basically will crash their own monsters into your cards, making you take all of the damage, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. So basically that's the goal of the archetype. So as long as it's not equipped with a new equip card, you take no battle damage involving it. But if it is, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponent takes all the battle damage that they would take from battles involving it. So basically it's just a annoying new archetype. If you guys have played against Gustos back in the day when they used to try that strategy, that's kind of what you're looking at. They technically have a ritual monster. They don't really have that many monsters. I believe it's 3 as of right now for its own archetype. They have a ritual which allows you to have basically the kind of the same effect where it can't be destroyed by battle, and then your opponent takes all the battle damage from the battles from this card instead. You can only use each of the following effectives once per turn though, but you reveal it to add a Mikanko card from your deck to your hand except for itself. Then you discard a card as a quick effect. Then you can target an equipped spell and equip it to an appropriate monster. Now, what do the equipped spells do? Well, we have Rondo over here, which is actually pretty good. This lets you equip it to an opponent's monster, lets you snatch steal of it, as long as you control Mikanko monsters. So basically what the archetype does, it's a snatch steal, so you're basically taking your opponent's stuff, they're going to negate it, and then you just crash into it because, well, it's already used its effect, right? That's the main, I would say, like, goal and point of the archetype. So you can see it, Rondo is there, it's going to snatch steal, take that card, and he's going to go attack, but the Fairy Tale Snow is going to go ahead and flip that card face down, and you got to keep that card. Pretty good stuff indeed. There's also the Great Mikanko Legend, which is a quick play. They're not all equips, but most of the deck is kind of oriented around equips. But this lets you special summon a Mikanko monster from your hand, ignoring its condition, but it bounces itself back. And then during the main phase, you banish from the graveyard to send a Mikanko card from your deck to the graveyard. And then, except for itself, you can only use its effect once per turn. A lot of the other cards will let you get it back from the grave. You can see he stopped this play over here, already flipping this monster face down, but the following turn, you'll see what he ends up making over here. So as far as like what the heck does this archetype really do, that's basically what it is in kind of a nutshell. But then on top of this, if this card becomes equipped with an equip card, you get to add a Mikanko equip spell from your deck to your hand. So you always have like a little bit of stuff. Basically, the ritual just keeps on giving you more of the, searching out more cards for the archetype. And then on top of that, this one searches out the other cards that you would want. So Blazing Dance over here lets you special summon one from your hand or graveyard, and you equip it with it. Then you can special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field, but its effects are negated. So again, it's basically kind of like a take your opponent's stuff, and you can see he crashed into the Zeus that was in defense position. Doesn't matter because they're all 0/0, and it actually has a very interesting matchup. Now I want to show you guys the deck going second against what I would consider an established board, because a lot of people want to know, okay, well, it can definitely play kind of the grind game, right? It has this idea that you just get out a monster, you can have Mystic Mine, and then you just basically keep on crashing your stuff into your opponents, and then when they make something too good, you just act like, okay, that's my monster now, and then we just swing in anyways. That also kind of forces your opponent's negations out. Now, what does the deck do when, let's say, your opponent happens to have some other stuff? Let's go to the other POV. So we have two of like the basic monsters right now. Right now, it's the Fire and Water, and then there's the Ritual. So Nini over here, the Fire one is the one where it lets you add the Mikanko equip spell. The Water one over here has this interesting effect. It's during your opponent's turn while this card is equipped with an equip card as a quick effect, target a face-up monster opponent controls, and you get to take control of it until the end phase. So again, it's all about stealing your opponent's stuff and just crashing your own monsters into them, although your monsters don't like get to come back. They don't even go away. It's just like they just take all the damage. Very great stuff. So he activates the Preparation of Rites, goes for the Hidden Army so he can add the equip. He's going to go ahead and banish it over here. So this card, if it's sent to the graveyard while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it, then target equip spell and add it back to your hand. But when there's too many negations, this deck doesn't really have insane easy potential just to get over stuff, and that could be partially a problem for the deck because you have to go for your summon and then also be kind of safe on being able to equip. But even if they don't, I mean, yeah, it just cannot be obviously if it has it, you can't be destroyed by battle and your opponent takes the battle damage, but it still makes it so you take no battle damage. But at the end of the day, if you summon a monster and be like, I can't take battle damage, your opponent is just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to negate the effect and run over you, and that's definitely a problem with the deck. But it has a very interesting matchup against the Dino Rufia, and there's something very interesting. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the Ferret card. Let me get to that card, which almost all of them plays. Okay, so it's Ferret Flames. Now what's interesting is since the Mikanko archetype is a 0 stats, it actually has an insanely good matchup against this because this card is virtually useless. In fact, you might be able to do some weird things with other cards. Heck, you can run Messenger of Peace, but Messenger of Peace is not as good as Mystic Mind. But this is why it's going to be an annoying deck. They're all going to run triple Mystic Mind. They're all going to be playing multiple cards to get out Mystic Mind because it's just like, oh, if you let me set up my board with a bunch of monsters where you just take all the damage, and then on top of that, you can't attack me back. Well, they're not going to really attack you anyways when you happen to have the equip. But like, that's basically what the deck wants to do. This guy's even running Spell Striker, which isn't necessarily like a bad thing, just being able to attack directly, potentially for game, but also letting the deck have easy access to each soul because you need to have, you know, multiple warriors, and one is a warrior, one's a spellcaster, so Isolde technically has some synergy in the deck. One of the best like link monsters for warriors. But yeah, this card over here is basically just not so great against it because, well, I mean, it will get rid of Isolde, but Isolde after it gets off the effect, it's basically worthless, right? But Denomorphy is a deck where it will have very low life points very quickly because that's how the deck operates, right? Where as long as you're able to go ahead and snatch steal one of the monsters, you can make it game real easy because, you know, he's trying to go for game as much as he can because this deck plays Mystic Mind, so like if you can't OTK this deck, you definitely want to try because they will stall for days. They have other like spells and other back row stuff that they'll just bring back cards, so it can get kind of annoying. So he goes ahead and has to say GG over it there because, well, he wasn't able to pop really anything. And again, even if he activated it maybe later, it wouldn't have mattered because it's going to be game anyways. So that's why the deck is quite annoying, as well as the field spell, because I didn't get to talk about this. As long as you control a monster with an equip card, your opponent's monsters must attack them. So it kind of forces them to attack, and then you take all the damage. So you have to be very careful when you attack. There's a lot of things that aren't activated, or if they were to activate something, they would like immediately use the field spell. But also, in addition to that, because that's not it, if your Mikanko monster battles, your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So it has to be something you gotta deal with this deck as quickly as possible. That's why it's annoying, because if you don't, they're gonna be able to get a lot of advantage. And then if your Mikanko monster attacks at the end of the damage step, you could send an equip card you control to the graveyard, and that monster can attack another attack on another monster in a row. So basically, you can do double of the damage because that's pretty good. You know what I was also thinking that would be pretty good is if you were to somehow make Acid Golem, give it to your opponent, and then you just crash into the Acid Golem again and again. That could be an option because that would lock their opponent out. There could be a lot of different options for this deck. Even in defense mode, if you give your opponent like a very large like Kaiju, throw it in defense mode and just keep on attacking into it, that can get pretty nasty too. I think the deck is going to be definitely very annoying. Is it going to be an uber S tier deck? I would say at the moment, not really, but it is definitely going to be an annoying deck to go ahead and face off against. So big shout out to Hex for this build over here. I'll give you guys two different builds. The Ritual Monster, honestly, it's used for basically the other effect where once per turn you reveal it, you get to add a Mikanko card from your deck to your hand. That's pretty much what it's used for. I mean, yeah, you could Ritual Summon it and then target one, but like, we're really here for the effects of just this. And then again, Mystic Mind, just so fantastic in the deck. I'll mouse over everything really quick. Look at that, he's definitely going to be going for those Quasars. It's just like filler over here. Honestly, there's a lot of filler in the extra deck. You do have technically lots of room for other cards in the extra deck for sure. Like Metaverse is very great as well. But yeah, all of them are going to be playing triple Mystic Mind, and that's why it's annoying. It's like, basically, Mystic Mind is there, so like you can't like attack them, and then even when you can, you're taking all the battle damage anyways. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about this deck after learning how to play. A lot of people are playing it right now, so again, I understand the frustration and the annoyingness of a certain deck, but sometimes it's a new deck, it'll be hot for a week, and I think that most players will phase out of it unless it gets extra support. But let me know, guys, what you think of the brand new Mikanko archetype. But if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos in the future, subscribe, turn the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and I'm out. Peace.